So I have one pretty big issue with my Lumix S5, and it's not the autofocus. When I first bought the S5, I thought it's a great full frame camera, the crop factor won't bother me at all, and I was wrong about that. The most frustrating thing to me is the fact that the S5 has a 4K 60 APS-C 1.5 times crop. I guess the question is, why does it bother me that much? The S5 comes standard with the 20 to 16 millimeter lens, and in full frame, having 20 millimeters is great with that slightly, ultra wide field of view until you want to start shooting 4K 60. So that led me to the conundrum on one of my shoots. Do I shoot 4K 60 and have a 30 millimeter field of view, or shoot 4K 30 and have a full frame field of view? And it's not like I have a bunch of ultra wide APS-C lenses lying around, since I only really have my Lumix 51.8, my Canon 70-200, and some other Canon lenses, which are all pretty much built with full frame in mind, which ultimately leaves me in the same position. With all that said, I ended up choosing the 20 millimeter at 4K 30 for this particular shoot, just so that I have a wide enough field of view for a lot of the interior shots. Now, the only problem was when I was doing push and pull shots on a gimbal, I had to be really careful with my movement, since camera shake at 80% speed slowed down is a lot more noticeable than 4K 60's 40% speed slowed down. So if there wasn't a crop in 4K 60, I would just shoot 4K 60 at 20 millimeters and not even think about it. The kit lens would ultimately become to me like a 20 millimeter prime lens and save me from buying an ultra wide APS-C lens, which I did end up doing and kind of regret it, because it's definitely a band-aid and not a permanent solution to this issue. I bought the APS-C Tokina 11-16 f2.8 lens as a way to shoot 4K 60 at a field of view roughly 17 to 24 millimeters. Seems to be a good lens, except it does have some funky purple fringing issues in high contrast areas, but otherwise I really like it. So let's back up a little bit. All of this headache led me to the conclusion that I would have to either compromise or shell out some serious money to get a lens that's ultra wide, decently fast, and optically good, and could potentially use with full frame later on in the future. But anyways, I ended up compromising with the APS-C 11-16 because I don't have a ton of extra money, so it seemed like a good option at the time. Because, if you think about it, inevitably, Lumix will end up removing the 4K 60 crop, and then what would I be doing with all of these expensive ultra-wide lenses that all of a sudden became obsolete by being either APS-C or now just a full-frame lens that's way too wide? So if I had endless money, I could just buy my way around this issue, but I have a mortgage to pay and inflation to keep up with, so lenses are on an as-needed basis at this point. I guess my question would be, does the crop factor on the S5 bother you? If it doesn't, how do you work around it? Thanks so much for watching.